The cold blackness of space stretched endlessly, dotted with distant stars that twinkled like tiny fires in the night. Two Zyrathian princes, Kale and Vorin, floated in their sleek command vessel, watching a small blip appear on their long-range scanners. It was just a tiny human scout ship, barely noticeable compared to the massive Zyrathian fleet they commanded. Kale leaned over the console, his long, slender fingers tapping the display. "So this is it," he said, his voice calm but tinged with amusement. "A single human scout, hardly worth our attention. Let's finish this quickly. I do not enjoy wasting time on such insignificant prey." Sensors and scanners hummed quietly as the alien warships converged on the tiny human vessel. It was a simple mission, or so they thought. The humans aboard their scout ship were completely unaware of the approaching storm. Captain Alina Morales adjusted her headset and glanced at her crew. Her ship, small but fast, was meant for reconnaissance, not battle. The ship vibrated slightly as it passed through the gravitational field of a nearby asteroid belt. "Scanners are clear," said Lieutenant Raj, the youngest of the crew, his hands moving quickly over the controls. "No signs of hostiles nearby." "I don't want surprises." "Too many." The first salvo of energy beams lit up space, streaking toward the tiny human ship. Explosions rocked the hull, sending the crew tumbling in zero gravity. "Shields up," Alina barked, her voice calm but firm. "Evasive maneuvers now." It was small but incredibly fast, slipping through the alien fleet's attacks like a fish in a raging river. Every time the aliens thought they had a clear shot, the humans would disappear, only to strike again from an unexpected angle. Kale's eyes widened as he observed the display. "What is this?" "A single scout unit is destroying our formations." Alina plotted their movements, predicting the aliens' attacks before they happened. In the span of a few minutes, the human scout had disabled two of the Zyrathian frigates and forced the rest to fall back. Kale leaned forward, his eyes scanning the reports. "They are adapting. Every move we make, they counter it." "It is unnatural." The explosions were smaller than the humans' larger weapons could cause, but they were precise, hitting critical points and causing chaos in the formation. Kale and Vorin watched in disbelief as their ships faltered. "This cannot be," Kale muttered. "A scout unit, a single scout unit. This is not just skill, this is intelligence." The fleet attempted to surround them, but the humans had already anticipated the maneuver. Using a combination of speed and clever navigation, they slipped past the main body and escaped into the shadow of a nearby planet. The alien princes stared at the empty space on their scanners. No trace remained. The tiny human scout had vanished as if it had never been there. Kale sank into his chair, still trying to process what had happened. They're gone," he whispered. "We've lost ships and they are still out there." "If this is their scout, what is the real human fleet capable of?" Back aboard the human scout, the crew finally allowed themselves a brief moment of relief. Alina checked the ship's status, minor damage but nothing critical. Raj leaned back in his chair, letting out a low whistle. "I can't believe we made it." Humanity cannot afford mistakes, not here, not ever. And somewhere far across the galaxy, the Zyrathian princes regrouped, their pride shattered and their fear growing. Humanity had shown them that intelligence, courage, and determination were far more dangerous than raw power, and they had only fought a scout unit. The Zyrathian princes sat in silence aboard their massive command ship, the glow of countless screens reflecting off their scaled faces. Kale's fingers hovered over the console, though he barely touched it. His mind was busy replaying the events of the encounter over and over. "How is it possible?" Kale whispered, his voice low and almost incredulous. "A single human scout, and we were forced to retreat. And yet our pride was crushed." Captain Alina Morales moved through the narrow corridors of the station, checking reports as her crew relaxed after the harrowing escape. The scout ship's small victories were celebrated quietly, not with fanfare, but with satisfaction. Every human knew the odds had been against them, yet they had prevailed. Alina entered the briefing room where her officers were gathered around a holographic display of the battle. "Good work out there," she said simply. "We survived, we made them retreat, but this is just the beginning. They will come back." "Because they underestimated us. Humans always surprise those who think they are weak. That is what we do best. We adapt, we learn, we fight back. Imagine what humanity can do when fully prepared." The Empire wanted to understand this anomaly. the species that had bested a fleet without the strength or size the aliens believed necessary. Kale leaned over the console, reviewing footage of human colonies. Look at this, Vorin. These humans, they thrive on planets that should be uninhabitable. Desert worlds, icy moons, volcanic regions. And yet they build, they survive, and they even fight effectively. Every system we check shows expansion, efficiency, and ingenuity. They are not just strong, they are evolving faster than we anticipated. Every new piece of alien data that humans recovered was analyzed, tested, and used to improve defenses. Nothing was wasted. Every encounter, even one as brief as the scout ship battle, became a lesson. Captain Morales oversaw these operations with a careful eye. We cannot just survive, she reminded her team. We must understand them. Every fleet, every weapon, every tactic they have. We study it, we learn it, and we prepare for the future. That is the human advantage. We think, we adapt, and we strike where they least expect it. Remember, humans have never lost when we refuse to surrender. Fleet commanders, tacticians, and scholars crowded around massive holograms of human systems. Kale's voice echoed across the chamber. We have made a grave error. One scout unit has humiliated our fleet. This is unacceptable. We must understand them, or humanity will become a threat we cannot contain. Princes, these humans, they fight with strategy, intelligence, and fearlessness. I have never seen a species so small accomplish such feats. They are extraordinary. Find out how they build, how they fight, how they think. The Zyrathians have seen what one scout unit can do, she said. They know we are capable. That is why our next moves must be careful, but we also have the advantage. They do not understand us fully. They still think humans are weak. That is the human way. Their fleet officers whispered of the human anomaly, a term that spread quickly across the Empire's communication networks. No one wanted to speak loudly about it, but everyone knew the truth. Humans were not to be underestimated. Kale and Vorin began to plan a larger strike, determined to regain honor and dominance. But the more they learned about humans, the more cautious they became. They discovered patterns of resilience, improvisation, and tactics that seemed almost unpredictable. Vorin shook his head. It is frustrating. Every plan we create, every attack we design, they adapt. They survive. They fight back. It is as though they think faster than we do. This species will not be destroyed by sheer force. If we attack recklessly, we will only lose more ships, more lives, and more face. We must understand them fully. Humans built faster, stronger, and smarter systems from the knowledge they gained, turning each encounter into an advantage. Captain Morales oversaw these developments personally. We learn from every mistake, every challenge, every attack they make, she reminded her crew. We do not fear them. We study them, and in doing so, we prepare for what is to come. That is what makes humanity unstoppable. Kale leaned over his console, eyes scanning human activity. Do you see this, Vorin? They are not just surviving, they are thriving, adapting faster than we can anticipate. Every action we take, they counter it. Every plan we create, they find a way to overcome it. They are not even the size of our fleets, and still they challenge us. They challenge the Empire itself. They have felt the sting of one scout unit. They will not forget. Our task is not to fight blindly, but to prepare wisely. We must continue to adapt, improve, and show them that humans are not simply another species to conquer. Humans always are. And the Empire would never forget it. The Zyrathian Empire had grown restless. The reports of human cunning and resilience were spreading across the highest ranks, whispered in corridors, debated in strategy chambers, and recorded in every fleet's log. Kale and Vorin, the two young princes, could no longer ignore the reality they had faced. A single human scout unit had humbled their fleet, and now it was clear that humanity was far more dangerous than they had imagined. The fleet was ordered to regroup and prepare for a full strike on a contested asteroid cluster near human space. This cluster was small, but it held valuable mineral deposits and strategic vantage points. The Zyrathians believed that controlling it would cripple human operations in the region. Kale studied the tactical maps on the console, his long fingers tracing the paths of human movements. They are clever, he muttered. Every approach they take is calculated. Every defensive position is chosen with precision. We cannot rely on brute force alone. Captain Alina Morales convened a meeting with her senior officers. The Zyrathians are coming, she said, her voice calm but firm. And this time it will not be a small encounter. They intend to take the asteroid cluster, but we are ready, And more importantly, we are humans. That means we will fight smarter than they expect. We will make every ship, every weapon, and every decision count. Humans have never lost when we refuse to surrender. Each maneuver was precise, calculated, and designed to maximize the advantage of their smaller numbers. Meanwhile, the Zyrathian fleet approached, massive and imposing. Their ships glinted in the dim light of distant stars, their weapons charged and ready. Kale and Vorin led from the front, confident in their training, their technology, and their empire's might. As the human sensors detected the incoming fleet, Alina's team initiated their plan. "All units, positions confirmed?" she asked. "Remember, they expect a direct assault. Give them something they do not expect." Mines exploded in patterns designed to herd the larger ships into tight spaces where maneuvering would be difficult. The first wave of Zyrathian ships moved in, confident of an easy victory. But as they entered the ambush zone, human fire tore into their formations. Precision strikes disabled engines, shattered weapon arrays, and caused chaos. Alien ships collided or had to veer off, disrupting the carefully planned advance. Kale's eyes widened as he watched the chaos unfold. What? How? They anticipated this. This is no accident. Fire on my mark now. Every tactic we use, they counter it. It was not raw strength that defeated them. It was intelligence, creativity, and courage. Alina watched the battle unfold, her eyes scanning every display, her mind calculating every movement. "Stay focused," she reminded her crew. "They have power, yes, but humans have heart, strategy, and adaptability. That is stronger than firepower when used wisely. Every engagement teaches them. Every mistake we make, they learn from it." The humans were not just surviving, they were dictating the battle. They were teaching the Zyrathians what it meant to fight a species that refused to be predictable, that refused to be crushed. "This cannot be happening," Kale hissed. "We should have destroyed them by now. Every fleet we send should overwhelm them." "No, Kale, we cannot. They are more than we imagined. They are humans. Keep moving, keep hitting them, and keep alive. They are unstoppable." It was a calculated retreat, never running, never panicking, always observing. Alina's voice over the comms was calm. "We made our point. They know now that humans cannot be underestimated. We survived, we adapted, and we showed them who we are. This is the first step. There will be more, but we are ready." "It is." They had survived a massive strike, outsmarted a superior enemy, and proven that courage, strategy, and intelligence were weapons stronger than the most advanced alien technology. Captain Morales looked at her crew, pride in her eyes. "Remember this day," she said softly. "We are small, we are few, but we are human. And that is more than enough." Kale's voice echoed through the command deck, almost a whisper to himself. "We only fought humans, and they have changed everything. And they are already more than we imagined." Whispers of the humans' courage, intelligence, and unpredictability were repeated endlessly. Even those who had never faced them spoke with fear and awe. Kale and Vorin, the two princes who had led the first encounters, found themselves at the center of every discussion. Other commanders looked at them with envy, skepticism, and a touch of fear. The twins' pride had been shattered, and now they were tasked with leading the largest offensive yet against humanity. Kale studied the fleet reports, his eyes narrowing. "They grow stronger with every engagement," he said quietly. "Every battle teaches them something new. Every mistake we make, they learn from it. If we are not careful, we may lose more than just a few ships next time." Captain Alina Morales reviewed reports from scouts and intelligence networks. The Zyrathians were moving again, sending more fleets, more firepower, more ships designed to crush human defenses. But humans were ready not just with weapons and ships, but with strategy. "We expected this," Alina told her officers. "They will come stronger, larger, and more confident." But humans have something they cannot understand: imagination, adaptability, and courage. That is our advantage. No alien army can match that. The humans waited, hidden among asteroids, behind gas clouds, and in shadowed regions of space. Every move was planned to maximize the terrain and human advantage. When the aliens entered the designated zones, they were met with precision strikes from hidden turrets, mines, and ambushes. Explosions rocked the larger ships, forcing them to scatter and regroup. Communication between the alien vessels became chaotic as smaller human ships darted in and out, targeting engines and weapons arrays. Kale's eyes widened in disbelief. They have prepared for everything. Every path, every approach, covered. Every tactic we attempt is countered. They are not just clever, they are disciplined, coordinated, and fearless. Every ship, every pilot acts as if they know exactly what we will do next. Smaller ships would draw larger ones into ambushes, mines would explode in perfectly timed patterns, and energy beams would target only the most vulnerable points. Alina watched the battle unfold, her mind analyzing every move. "Keep calm," she told her crew. "We are outnumbered, yes, but we are never outsmarted. Every strike is calculated. Every maneuver has a purpose." Humans survive not because of brute strength, but because we think, we adapt, and we fight with determination. The humans were not reacting randomly. They were learning, predicting, and adapting in real time. "They think faster than we do," Kale admitted, his voice low. "Every tactic we try, they adjust to it before it even hits them. They are willing to risk everything to survive and win. Our numbers do not intimidate them. Our weapons do not scare them. They fight with heart." Automated turrets fired with accuracy unmatched by alien technology, mines exploded in traps that funneled the larger ships into narrow corridors, and small human craft targeted engines and shields with deadly precision. Kale's voice was almost a whisper, filled with disbelief. "We only fought humans, and they are more than we expected." "They are extraordinary. They do not know how to deal with humans," she said softly. "They have strength, numbers, and firepower, but we have something stronger: intelligence, teamwork, and courage. They cannot predict what we will do next." The humans, despite their small numbers, had proven that intelligence, strategy, and courage could overcome even the mightiest forces. Kale and Vorin stared at the reports, their faces pale with realization. "We underestimated them again," Kale said quietly. "One scout unit, and they have grown into this. This is a force, and they are only beginning. If we continue this way, the Empire will face losses beyond imagination. They will return, but so will we, stronger, smarter, and more prepared than before." They had proven that raw numbers and superior technology were not enough to overcome ingenuity, courage, and unity. Kale muttered almost to himself, "They fight not just for survival, but for something greater. They fight for each other, for their home, for humanity itself. And that makes them unbeatable in ways we cannot understand." Every encounter, every battle, teaches us that humans cannot be crushed with arrogance. They must be respected, studied, and approached carefully. Underestimating them again would be catastrophic. They have power, but they do not have heart. They have numbers, but we have intelligence. They have weapons, but we have courage. That is what will keep humanity alive, and that is what will make us stronger in the days ahead. The species that the Empire had dismissed as weak and insignificant had survived, adapted, and struck with precision. It was no longer a single scout unit. It was an example of humanity's ability to endure, innovate, and overcome even the most powerful adversaries. Kale and Vorin stared at the stars beyond their command deck, their minds heavy with realization. They had fought a species they thought would crumble under pressure. Instead, humans had risen to the challenge, teaching the princes a lesson they would never forget. "We only fought humans," Kale said quietly, "and they are already more than we imagined. And now the entire Empire will have to reckon with them." And the galaxy had begun to notice. The humans had learned quickly from every encounter. Every battle, every maneuver, every hit and retreat was studied, refined, and improved. Captain Alina Morales stood on the bridge of the command hub, her eyes scanning the distant star systems where the Zyrathian fleets had gathered. They were larger than ever, more confident and more determined to crush humanity. But the humans were ready. "Status report," Alina said, her voice calm, though her heart raced with anticipation. Lieutenant Raj, monitoring the sensor arrays, replied, "All fleets are in position. Mines, turrets, and ambush points have been checked. Shields are at maximum. Weapons are ready." "They are approaching, Captain. Humans never surrender. We have the numbers, we have the firepower, and we will remind them why the Zyrathian Empire rules the stars. We will show humanity its place. Remember, every strike counts. Every maneuver must be deliberate. We do not fight recklessly. We fight with intelligence, heart, and courage. That is what makes us human." Hidden turrets struck at engines and weapons arrays, crippling several capital ships before they could react. Kale's eyes widened as he observed the destruction. "Impossible! How do they anticipate every move?" Every ship, every pilot, acts as if they know our plan before we even begin. Elena watched her fleet, calm and confident. Remember, every ship matters, every maneuver matters, fight together, protect each other, adapt to every attack. Humans never give up, humans never surrender. Each attack, each maneuver forced the aliens to react, to adapt, to stumble. The humans were learning faster than the Zyrathians could anticipate. They are extraordinary, Kale admitted under his breath. We have faced an entire fleet and they survive. They learn, they adapt, they strike back. It is humanity itself, and we cannot defeat it with firepower alone. Elena's voice carried calm authority. Focus. Every attack must have a purpose, every ship must protect its fleet, every human must fight as one. That is how we win. Kale and Vorin realized that no amount of power, no number of ships could overcome the humans' combination of intelligence, courage, and unity. Kale's voice trembled as he spoke. They think faster than we do. Every plan we make, they anticipate. Every strike we launch, they counter. We only fought them before, and now we see their true strength. Elena gave the order to withdraw slightly, not in fear, but as part of a larger strategy. Pull back, regroup, and strike again. They think they can push us, but they are learning the wrong lesson. Humanity is unstoppable when united. They fight with heart, mind, and unity, and that is something we cannot break. Captain Morales walked among her crew, her eyes full of pride. Today, we have proven that humans are more than our enemies expect. We survive, we adapt, and we fight smarter than anyone. That is what makes us human. They will never forget this. The Zyrathians will remember that humans fight differently, that humans survive, and that humans endure. They are intelligent, courageous, and coordinated beyond expectation. We only fought a scout unit before, and now we understand that humans are a force to be reckoned with. Humanity must be approached with respect and caution, or the Empire will suffer greatly. The Zyrathians may have numbers, power, and technology, but we have something stronger: unity, intelligence, and heart, and that is unstoppable. They had outsmarted, outmaneuvered, and outlasted one of the most powerful empires in existence. Kale and Vorin, humbled and awed, watched from the edges of human space. They had learned a lesson they would never forget. Humans were not prey. Humans were not weak. Humans were intelligent, adaptable, and courageous beyond measure. Kale's voice was quiet, almost reverent. We only fought humans, and they have proven more than we could imagine. The Zyrathian Empire had learned that no number of ships, no display of firepower, could overcome intelligence, courage, and determination. Humans had shown that their greatest weapon was not a fleet or a weapon, but their mind, their heart, and their unity. And in the darkness of space, a single truth echoed across stars, systems, and empires. And humanity would never, ever be underestimated. The Zyrathians, humbled and enlightened, would carry this lesson forever. One scout unit had changed the course of history. One species had proven that heart, mind, and courage could outmatch the greatest power in the galaxy. And the princes whispered the words that would haunt the Empire.